The Western success formula can be expressed as be times do equals have. This is the second formula. Let me explain each component. Be. This represents your inner self, your internal power, your personal capabilities. Do. This is how you contribute those capabilities to the world. Have. This is what life returns to you, the results you harvest. In this formula, be is the cause, do is the condition, work only plays the role of a condition, and have is the result. Your inner strength and capabilities are the true cause. When the cause combines with the condition, work, it produces the result, higher salary. This exemplifies the principle, cause plus condition creates result. When students first graduate, has their inner strength fully formed yet? No, that's just the beginning of the formation process. Recent graduates typically have studied, but haven't yet reflected or applied. If we temporarily calculate using the 10-20-70 formula, they have listened, but haven't yet engaged in contemplation or practice. This means their inner strength has only reached about 1/10. Not extremely weak, but still insufficient to excel at work. With weak inner strength, no be. Even if they work, do, they'll only produce poor results, no have, reflected in low wages. Because of low pay, graduates often job hop, hoping to find somewhere with better compensation. But they're seeking results without understanding they need to supplement the cause. The essence of the issue is that they must diligently work to train and increase their inner strength. This is far more important than finding a place with higher pay. After approximately 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years of training, as inner strength increases, salary will naturally rise accordingly. When you truly have the capability to work effectively, no one wants to pay you poorly or dismiss you. In fact, if at this point you submit a resignation letter, your boss will try to keep you. Conversely, if during your first months of working with weak capabilities you resign, your boss might secretly rejoice. I was planning to let you go from the first month. Now that you're resigning on your own, I'm delighted. The flaw in the failure formula stems from an incomplete listen contemplation practice process. Recent graduates typically only possess listen, book knowledge, without contemplation, critical thinking, or practice, practical training. Therefore, their be inner strength cannot fully form. Conversely, when the listen contemplation practice cycle is completed, inner strength develops fully. At this point, a person doesn't just talk, but understands and acts. This is when be has fully formed. When this person contributes to life, they will certainly reap results. Have. The simple rule is, stronger inner strength yields more results. Weaker inner strength yields fewer results. This is the formula many businesses apply. A business with strong internal capabilities and talent will certainly achieve good results when performing tasks. However, when they achieve results, they often tend to possess them, accumulate them, putting more and more into accounts, and we call these wealthy businesses and successful people. But these people, despite having many achievements, may not have found the true meaning of life. Because the more they have, the larger their ego tends to grow. The more they have, the more they possess. According to the 12 links of dependent origination you've learned, contact gives rise to feeling. Feeling gives rise to craving. Craving gives rise to grasping. Grasping gives rise to becoming. Becoming is the power of possession, and its root is craving, giving rise to grasping, then grasping, giving rise to becoming. Therefore, those who apply the be times do equals have formula, but only stop at accumulating have, will find their greed growing day by day. They may achieve material success but may not necessarily find fulfillment in life. From these analyses, great figures and sages have proposed another formula: be times do equals give. This formula shows that as your inner strength grows, you gain a greater ability to contribute and give more. The difference between the second formula, be times do equals have, and the third formula, be times do equals give, lies in the nature of the action. The second formula is doing to take, a hand grasping and pulling back narrow possession. The third formula is doing to give, an open palm extended to others. Let's look at some exemplary examples. Mother Teresa throughout her life extended her hand to give, not to grasp and take. Thus, she was canonized twice. Buddha also chose to extend his hand to give. If he wanted to grasp and take, he would never have renounced his throne. He could have controlled an entire nation, but he chose to let go. Spiritual practitioners must let go, extend their hands. This is not easy at all. The be times do equals give formula seems simple, but is actually very difficult to implement. However, only those who can do this have the opportunity to touch the true meaning of life. Meanwhile, the be times do equals have formula never helps us find deep meaning. The business world compared to a battlefield is where the second formula, be times do equals have, dominates. Businesses compete with each other, fighting for market share, a pie that usually has a fixed size. When everyone wants their portion of have to be larger, they are forced to compete with each other, creating trade wars, wars in the mind. On a macro scale between nations, this can transform into armed conflict. For example, during French colonization, the French colonists occupied Vietnam, building the North-South Railway not out of love for Vietnam, but to exploit and transfer natural resources to their country. That illustrates the second formula, be times do equals have. In relationships, many people claim they marry with a giving mindset. Be times do equals give, but in reality they operate with a possession formula. Be times do equals have. When we declare love and giving, how do we actually react when facing challenges? What if one day your spouse goes off with someone else? Would you truly let them go? Or would you become consumed with jealousy, sitting at home feeling miserable? Reality shows that just when your partner comes home half an hour late, or when there's an unfamiliar text message on their phone, many people start feeling upset all night. Is that a mindset of giving or possessing? Possessing. Good heavens, marriage often follows the second formula, which is why it generates jealousy with the thought, you must belong to me, she must belong to me. Rest assured, in this world, two formulas are used most frequently. No be times do equals no have, and be times do equals have. These two formulas are used extensively. This is the formula for failure, and this is the formula for success, while be times do equals give is the formula for happiness. Few people touch this happiness formula. This is why success and happiness are two different categories. Around the world, we can clearly see the be times do equals have formula in action. Which formula does America's invasion of Iraq represent? Why didn't Obama and Clinton attack Iraq, while the Bush family was determined to invade? Why choose Iraq and not another country? The answer lies in Iraq's abundant oil resources. The Bush family had connections to the oil industry, owning shares in many oil and gas companies. Meanwhile, Obama and Clinton had no ties to the oil industry, so they only made threats without actually attacking. This shows that even at the level of national leadership, the be times do equals have formula still governs decisions. Even as president, when the mindset of possession and seizure remains strong, war continues to happen. Even 100 United Nations organizations can't solve the world peace problem, because the root comes from presidents. As long as the mindset of possession and seizure remains prevalent, war cannot be stopped. When Ho Chi Minh invited Vo Nguyen, Giap Giap, to join him, which formula was he applying? The third formula. Did Vo Nguyen Giap join because he demanded high wages or because he wanted to contribute? He wanted to contribute. Therefore, for Giap, a man who lived by the third formula, B times do equals give, salary was no longer an important factor. When someone has moved to the third formula, if you use salary to retain them, that's a major mistake. In essence, you're insulting their dignity. With these people, you can quietly raise their salary or give them bonuses to help them when they face difficulties. But never use compensation to negotiate with them. If you say, this time I'll increase your salary by half, but you must do this and that and that, that's an insult to them. People who live by the B times do equals give formula don't work for salary, so don't negotiate with them that way.